Okay, and here we are again. We have Forrest Richter from Milwaukee, another one of our city partners. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please let us know what you have been working on so far.
All right, thanks, Classic. Yeah, Milwaukee it's on the come up. We're a little behind in terms of capital, a little behind in terms of deals, but that to me is like that's the buy low opportunity. And so for me, like my background is in startup operations. I had an exit from a startup Uncrowd in June. And so now I want to try to create more opportunities for underrepresented founders in particular, but Milwaukeeans. And I think Wefunder is a cool way to do that.
And it's interesting. Don't hear much about Milwaukee. I guess that's part of the issue in it all. What are some of the issues you have been dealing with being such a small town like that?
Yeah, we have a lot of people who want to see Milwaukee succeed. And in that, we have pathways and opportunities that exist for sure, but it's hard if you are new. It's hard if you're new on the scene. And there's a lot of people that are trying to do work that sometimes runs into conflict with each other because everyone's trying to do good, but sometimes the work that they're doing doesn't necessarily align in the same way. And so for me, I really try to kind of play in between the lines on that and be friends with everybody and try to just connect opportunities and make things happen.
Yeah, how have things been going? Has there been a lot of pushback? Has it been embraced? How's it been looking?
I think the Milwaukee Superpower is community. Like I think for the most part, people really want to see people succeed and want to help people succeed and do well. But we don't have that success story yet. We don't have that unicorn that we can point to. We don't have that giant exit where all of a sudden a bunch of people got rich off of it. And so that's what we're trying to build towards.
I wonder. It's interesting when you think about like sports and how the elevation of teams kind of draw things in. Like the big issue right now in Portland is like we don't really know much that's going on, and so it doesn't help with the winning because we can't really recruit. But if there was some sort of winning, then we could recruit better. Yeah. The championship, you guys just win the NBA championship. Do you think things like that help shine a light to the point where like, hey man, now that folks are looking, maybe we use this as an opportunity to kind of cultivate some business, get this economy growing and see what we can.
For sure. I mean, Milwaukee is a dope city. It really is. It's got the feel of a small city. You're right on the lake, but you got access to big city stuff. It's easy to get around, but there's cool stuff. And things like the Bucks winning the championship, like it really brought the community together in a cool way and showed the world kind of what's cool. Like there's actual cool stuff happening in Milwaukee. And so I think that attention can only be positive and only lead to ideally more people exploring Milwaukee, maybe relocating to Milwaukee, maybe bringing resources to Milwaukee. And then at the same time, as we kind of look outward from Milwaukee, that we have something positive to talk about. We're not necessarily talking about the ways that we might be left behind.
Yeah, man, that's super awesome, man. And I thought it was like a great look. That's the first thing that came to mind. Like I wanted, so it was even cool to have this experience and then have you come in and talk about a lot of those issues, a lot of those things you're trying to fight through. But more importantly, just trying to shine more of light. And I appreciate when things like that happen. Have you been successful with raising any money to kind of like I don't know, it's so like I talked to Gary earlier about Delaware. I kind of feel like it's the same thing where it's this really cool place, just like anywhere else is thriving. They're probably you feel like the folks would super get behind it because it benefits them as well. Have there been any like success stories on your end? Not to say it has to be like large $1 million scenarios, but
yeah, I do a lot of work with trying to connect founders with capital because I think that is fundamentally especially in Milwaukee, that's the need first. Like the support systems are there, but we need to give them the growth capital. And we've been able to do that. And we've been able to bring investors into different projects and get investors on board with that. But to really kind of find that way to take things, to skyrocket things, not just like sustain, not a few months of runway, but like this is actually going to jumpstart and get this thing going, that we haven't had it. I haven't had it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're hoping can happen. So you get the resources, you get these opportunities for capital, you get the relationships. What are some of those early things you plan to kind of implement to kind of get the city kind of pushing in that direction?
Yeah, man. I think Wefunder is, from an opportunity perspective as a vehicle for founders in Milwaukee, is just phenomenal. I think it is absolutely something that can co-invest alongside investors that want to get deals done. Sometimes that gets held up in Milwaukee. This is a way to bring capital from the outside. I think it's a way to de-risk some investment. Investors might say like, hey, look, I know you're raising 300K. I'm not comfortable at that level, but if you can raise, I don't know, 200K on Wefunder, we'll come in for 100K. Like, I think there's ways, it just creates some flexibility that isn't there right now. Right now, there's a lot of friction. There's a lot of speed bumps in fundraising. And I think Wefunder just creates a lot of really creative, flexible solutions that right now, I don't think anybody is talking about Reg CF in Milwaukee. And so it's going to be exciting to see what we can do with it.
I think that's cool because we were talking with Johnny, our VP, recently about how it's always funny when people kind of skip the community around, because people talk about like how, well, if you got crowdfunding, it's probably because you couldn't get VC. It's just viewed as this sort of like dirty and like low quality scenario. But the idea of being able to show up with 1,000 people, this army of supporters that have technically been the first investor because they've been purchasing the product that's gotten you to this point, and then to see somebody else saying, well, I'll wait till you can do a little bit more, and kind of show that those folks have been taking the first risk anyway, and they will get you to that point. And if you need that to carry you over, it just shows even more how valuable they are in comparison to that second round anyway. Yeah, it got you over the top, but again, the people got you there, and it's important to shine that light.
Yeah, and that, like, when I say community is Milwaukee superpower, like, now we can actually turn that into capital, right?
Yes.
Like, which we couldn't before. We could turn it into support, we could turn it into introductions, we could turn it into opportunities, we could turn it into mentorship. But now to say like, hey, I got a community of 100 founders here who are all doing cool stuff, and this, we all believe in this founder who just has had a hard time fundraising in traditional ways, that we could all say, cool, we're all going to come in for $1,000, and you got $100,000 just from the other founders. That's amazing that you can do that.
So the kind of leave it off on a really super solid note, the people from the outside looking in, or will be looking in, that are currently looking in, what are those selling points where you're like, look, this is why this is a great place for you to kind of invest that money, invest that time and that energy?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Milwaukee has all of the markers for what should be a successful and thriving ecosystem. We have big Fortune 500s. We've got universities. We've got programs that are great programs for helping people navigate entrepreneurship, navigate how to become a startup successfully. What we've just lacked is we've lacked kind of the early capital that can really make that happen. And so if you're looking for a lot of high upside on your ROI, like it's a classic buy low. Buy low on Milwaukee right now. Now's the time to get in.
Awesome. So where can everyone find you and kind of reach out moving forward, even before the Wefunder thing being happening?
Yeah. So I'm like totally available on LinkedIn, like Forrest Richter, find me there. Like I try to respond to other stuff. I run a consulting firm called Fresh Coast Labs, freshcoastlabs.com. You can hit me up there as well. And I'm around, like I'm happy to make connections. If you are trying to get into Milwaukee, if there's a founder you're trying to connect with, there's an investor, like I am happy to connect those dots. A lot of people just don't know the entry points. Like I am open, doors open, gates open, like shoot me an email, shoot me a note. I will try to plug you in where I can.
Awesome sauce, man. Like super appreciate everything you've done so far. Looking forward to all the contributions that you're going to be making moving forward. I wish you the best in it all, and thank you very much for the time now.
Oh, thanks, Classic. You're the best, man. We gotta get you to Milwaukee.
Yes, please. Thank you. Awesome.